One of the most common questions people used to ask me about Scotland is what language do they speak? I hope to answer that question in this video. Scotland is a great place to live, so like many similar countries, you will find a mixture of people who have moved here from other countries, including obviously my own family. This means that like many modern countries, you can hear a variety of languages spoken. But if you're looking at what the most common language is, then probably the best place to start is with a census, in which people are asked to answer what language do they primarily speak. While the figures from the most recent census from 2022 have not been released yet, the ones from 2011 should give us a decent idea. From this information, you can say, as many sites online will tell you, that there are three primary languages used in Scotland. These are English, Scots, and Gaelic. I should also mention a fourth, British Sign Language, with over 13,000 people making use of it. Over 98% of the population recorded that they spoke English. 92% stated that they only spoke English in their homes. Thus, it is abundantly clear that the primary language spoken in Scotland is English. At this point, I can make a Scottish joke that at least something useful has come from England, but of course I won't. After English, the next most common language spoken is Scots. According to the 2011 census, more than 1.5 million people say that they spoke Scots. Though I had thought of Scots as primarily a lowland language, meaning mostly concentrated in the south, the highest percentage of Scots speakers were recorded in the north, in the Shetland Islands, Aberdeenshire, Moray, and the Orkney Islands. But this helps point out the fact that Scots itself is made up of various dialects, such as Doric, Scotch, Dundonian, Shetland, Orcadian, and Glasca. Glasca means from the region of Glasgow, which makes sense to me as some might say that the people of Glasgow speak a different language than English. As we lived in Orkney for a few years, I ken a peedy Orcadian, as they might say. Many Americans have heard a little Scots without realizing it, the classic example being the use of the word I for yes, or if you've ever sung the song Auld Lang Syne, written by Robert Burns, who often wrote in a mixture of Scots and English, then you've even sung a Scots phrase, loosely translated, for the sake of long ago. As shown by the census data, many still speak Scots, often mixed with English. Some areas are proud of the fact that they speak it, such as Muirkirk, where many poets made use of it. As you enter the village of Muirkirk, you will see this sign. I can recall being a bit confused by it, but it means in Scots that this is a town or village where Scots dialect is spoken. Third most common language is Gaelic. In the 2011 census, just over 57,000 people said that they could speak Gaelic, a drop from 59,000 in 2001. 23,000 people said that they could understand Gaelic, but not read, write, or speak it. Throughout Scotland, you will see many signs, such as this one, with both English and Gaelic on them. It is even more common in the Western Isles, where over 52% of the population stated that they could speak Gaelic. In parts of the Isles, it is not uncommon to have church services entirely in Gaelic. Though I can't understand most of what is said or sung, they are quite beautiful. I am absolutely rubbish at languages, but I have slowly been working at learning a bit of Gaelic. I can recall my first attempt at speaking it, many years ago. I was living on the Isle of Skye, and I learned a few phrases such as Mate va, for good morning, and Camera Hashif, for how are you. I was asked to visit an elderly gentleman whose primary language was Gaelic. Now, to be clear, as they would say, I do not have the Gaelic, but I did know a few phrases as I said. I told him good morning and asked him how he was. He then spoke for several minutes non-stop in Gaelic, leaving me just smiling and nodding and not understanding a single word. Here, for the sake of comparison, is a familiar verse, John 3:16, side by side, first in English, then Scots, then Gaelic. As you can see, the Scots is somewhat similar to English, as both of them are Germanic languages. In fact, though it might look odd to you at first, if you try reading it out loud, you will probably get the overall meaning of each word. So these represent the three most common languages spoken in Scotland. Again, since by far the majority speak in English, if you come for a visit, you'll certainly get by with it. And maybe you will get a chance to enjoy some of the other lovely languages. Aye, maybe you'll ken a peety bit of it. Hopefully, as the weather warms up, I will get out and about Scotland a wee bit more. But this is bye for now, or in Gaelic, Cheery and Drosta.